unless you're speaking. We'll have time at the end for questions and answers, but if you have a pressing one, just raise your hand. If it's a engaging moment of the PowerPoint, feel free to just come off mute as well and engage. We'd love to hear from you, but yes, staying mute during the presentation would be great.
Yes, it would.
Anything else?
No, I think you got it. I think you got it. I want to thank all of you for joining. I just saw our good friend Melissa from Tennessee. Melissa, I feel like we've been on teams all day together. But Melissa from Tennessee, one of our colleagues, thanks for joining us and supporting us here this evening. Okay, so the Red Cross Caring Communications. There are versions of this training that go out to everybody that works for the Red Cross. So collection staff, get a version of this. Call center staff, anyone related to biomed and the work that we do gets a certain version of this. This particular version is specific for BDA volunteers, but the purpose of the thing is to make caring visible by incorporating skills, initiatives, and behaviors serving internal and external customers at all levels in every interaction, creating a caring culture every day. They cheat on that one, but hey, I don't have the suggestion how to make it better. But that's what caring communication is. Again, it's a lot of simple, you almost take for granted, talking about the way that we interact with donors, the way that we interact with staff, the way that we interact with sponsors, to make this thing run as smoothly as possible.
Great. So before we go into our question, our first little icebreaker question, I just want to say a few things about our presentation today. Great conversations have the power to build trust, strengthen relationships, and create a sense of connection. When we're fully present with others, we show them that they matter. It's important to pause and reflect. We've all experienced moments when someone wasn't truly present with us. Maybe they were distracted, rushed, or just not fully engaged. It often leaves us feeling overlooked, frustrated, and even unsettled. And if we're honest, most of us have likely done the same to somebody else at some point. This module is designed to help us change that. We'll focus on key skills that prevent those negative experiences and instead help us create conversations where people feel genuinely heard, understood, and valued. So can you think of a time when you felt heard in a conversation?
I can, and I'm going to share, and I don't think she's on the call, but my supervisor, who's an employee at the American Red Cross, and I shared this earlier, excels at this. And I would say this if I knew that she wasn't watching. I did say she was before. I don't know if she's here. I'm not going to call her out. But she excels. So I have met her several times in real life in the world. And I've also engaged with her on a very regular basis for years now through this format. So mostly these screens, a little bit of this, but mostly this. And she excels and has a skill set that I do not in making you feel very heard. She is an excellent listener. I kind of have a little bit of a diarrhea of speech a little bit. I throw a lot of extra words in. I try and fill up those silences, and she's so good at letting me talk and express and finish thoughts, and always gives thoughtful responses that make me feel like she heard me. And I'm grateful to her for that.
Yeah, I always enjoy when I'm speaking with somebody and I just need to say something out loud and they're not providing any advice. They're just there as a listening board. Great eye contact, non-judgmental, just there for you as a good stand-up friend would be. So I always appreciate those conversations as well. The non-judgmental part of it all.
Speaking of good stand-up friends, we should have mentioned this earlier. So my colleague, Krista Connolly, who is a dear friend, we didn't plan this.
Oh yeah, no.
We're dressed like the Wonder Twins today, the Red Cross Wonder Twins. We didn't plan it. It just happened. It was kind of in the 50s and sunny today. in Greensboro, and we both
All
went
for it.
we both went with the white hoodie. So so that's it. But yeah, would anyone else like to share a time or situation? Wouldn't have to be work related, but a time or a situation when you felt heard. And if you don't want to verbalize it or come on camera, you can always, share something in the chat with us as well. We'd love to hear about it.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so I would like to share that I have a family member that I can call and vent to or just talk to about anything. Most of the time, don't say that I have a problem. I just call and say, "What you doing? How you doing?" And they say, "What's wrong, Jamaica?"
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good listening ear. I don't get interrupted when I'm talking. They just listen.
Yeah, that's like I was saying before, and I agree with you. Just having somebody there to listen intently and just be there for you, whether it's virtually on the phone or in person,
Yeah.
is so important.
I had a grandparent like that. I had a grandmother. She passed away now. She lived to be 94. But she died several years ago. But when I was young, yeah, she was that, just like you said. You could just call and talk or just stop by the house and talk, and she didn't really, there was no like life advice. I didn't need anything. But yeah, she was very good listener.
Just a good listener.
She seemed interested in me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's the important part when someone seems interested.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Not just pretending, not just being courteous to be courteous, but actually seems interested in you. So yeah, fantastic. And if you have any other examples, again, feel free to toss them in the chat. Darlene, good to see you. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for being here. I feel like we've been on these all afternoon.
All day long, right?
Thanks for doing one more. I hope this is your last one of the day.
This is the last one of the day.
Yeah, that's right. Dinner time after this. So.
One missing.
All right, back to you.
So much of the time we listen just to reply, but meaningful communication happens when we listen with the goal of understanding. True listening means being present, setting aside assumptions, and opening up to another person's perspective. This is called listen to learn. So how do we get there? Knowing the difference between listening to respond versus active listening.
Perfect. And we're going to talk first about listening to respond. When Krista and I were putting this slide deck together, or this presentation together for y'all, and we go through and decide who's going to do what, like, oh, this is your slide, this is your slide, we're going to talk both on this. This was the first one that I put my hand up and I said, let me do this one because I struggle with this. I am a listening to respond. I've done it to you already today, because she'll tell a story and I'm like, oh, I need to comment on that because I have a similar story. But this is, we all do it to a certain extent. I think I'm probably more guilty than most. If my wife was here on this call, she would definitely agree that I was more guilty than most. But listening to respond, which is sometimes appropriate, but frequently problematic for relationships. Here's some things that go along with this. Focusing on oneself, so thinking more about, you're listening to someone, but you're thinking about yourself and how you're going to respond. Interruptions are more likely, meaning that if you're listening to respond, you're more likely to
jump in
before the person finishes. That was good.
It's the coffee.
Selective hearing, meaning that you're not listening to the whole thing because you kind of made your mind up about how that conversation is going to go, so you're not even listening to the whole piece. Surface level attention, similar being, you might be someone that's good at giving eye contact and nodding and giving giving the ums and the ahs, like I do sometimes to my kids, and I should. I mean, it's just a surface level, not really absorbing what they're saying. Making assumptions, again, one of the worst things, and I do it when a conversation starts. I'm like, I think I know how this is going to go. So I start to make assumptions before I even listen to what they're saying, which makes me defensive or persuasive. I'm ready to defend myself even before I've been attacked. I'm trying to, come up with almost like I'm on trial, right? Someone's going to tell me a story, and I'm like, oh, here's how I'm going to respond to defend myself. Frequently not necessary. And all these things can damage trust. It can damage trust not just in these Red Cross interactions, like we're going to talk about with donors and staff, but can also damage trust with family members and friends and loved ones if they don't feel like you're listening because you're just listening to respond. Again, we all do it a little bit. I think I do it a lot. I'm working on it. I really enjoyed this training and putting this together for that reason. But the flip side of that is that you can also do things to genuinely active listen, which Chris is going to talk about right now.
So active listening is the how, the specific behaviors we practice in the moment to show we are present and engaged. It's the nods, the clarifying questions, the patience to let someone finish, and the effort to reflect back on what we've heard. These actions help keep us grounded in conversation. So there's focus is on the speaker, giving full attention to understand their perspective. We have nonverbal engagement, nods, eye contact, body language, like we spoke about, clarifying questions, asking to ensure understanding, not to steer the conversation, paraphrasing or reflecting back, summarizing what was said to show comprehension, patience, allowing the speaker to finish without interrupting, empathy-driven, trying to understand feelings and intent, not just words, and then seeks attention, builds trust and rapport.
I have a family
saw you
member
move
that-
your
I did.
thing.
I gave my full attention,
Yeah.
and I didn't look at my notes or the next thing because I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to do the thing in real time that we're talking about today. But yeah, I have a family member that steers the conversation. I thought of that. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, gosh, I do have a family. She's very good at that. But I have a extended family member, not immediate house.
You're close.
So yeah, that steers. She definitely steers the conversation where she wants it to go. So yeah, which again is a pretty impressive skill. But yeah,
Hard when
sometimes
you're trying to make connections.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So there are four, again, these are going to be positive listening skills, four listening skills that are going to contribute to active listening more than listening to respond. They are giving full attention, being non-judgmental. Again, listening to the whole thing, not working it out in your head how you think the conversation is going to go. So give full attention, be non-judgmental, using nonverbal cues, and we'll talk about all these in detail here in a minute, and also to match their tone. Very important to be able to read a room, whether that room is just
Two
one other
people.
person, yeah, or a large group. Very important to read a room and match tone. And first off, we're going to go into some details on.
Give your full attention. So minimize distractions. We want to put these away. Maintain eye contact. Don't interrupt. And by giving someone your full undivided attention, you show respect and create trust in your relationship.
This one's tough. We live in a distracting world,
Yeah.
full of distractions. The noises, the sounds in our society in 2025, how every time you're trying to watch something or focus something, there's an interruption, there's an advertisement, there's a sound, there's a ding, there's a notification. The phones have done so much to improve our life while also wasting our life, I feel. I have two of them that I carry. One of them belongs to the Red Cross, one of them belongs to me. And I did this on both meetings. I put them, I'm so bad with it because I just feel like I have to check them constantly. I put them both out of reach. So they're in the room, but I can't reach them without getting off this call. So that's what.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to minimize distractions by doing that. So yeah, always important to give full attention. Important to remain non-judgmental, be open-minded about how that conversation is going to go. Don't jump to conclusions and look for cues. We're going to put all these together in a scenario, kind of a real-world blood drive scenario here in just a couple of minutes. But it's that thing, I'm as guilty as anyone, where someone approaches me or someone calls me and a conversation starts and I start to prejudge how that's going to go. I start to make assumptions, based on, what I know about this individual or what I know about this situation. I'm frequently like, oh my gosh, this is, I'm bracing for impact. I'm waiting for the sky to fall. And it doesn't. I was at a blood drive a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and had a scenario like that where there's a gentleman who was, again, kind of a very serious, sort of a gruff demeanor. He had a big, impressively curly mustache, but, covered his mouth so you couldn't really see as much of his face react. You couldn't really see a smile as much. But he donated and went through canteen, and I couldn't really get much out of him. And he walked over to me on his way out, and I was bracing. I was being judgmental. I was bracing for the worst and not being open-minded. And this guy, asked me my name and my role, and told me that he'd been donating for years. And that was the best donation experience he'd ever had. And he said, this stuff's fantastic. They were so smooth and quick and got me in and out. And that was just very pleasant. And, and I was like, oh, wow, thanks. And then I found that I had to change my whole demeanor and go back to being bubbly, like, hey, man, thanks. You have a good evening. We'll see you next time. Because I was, for some reason, I was prejudging that when he walked over, and I was thinking it was going to be something else. So yeah, assume good intent. That's something we talk about. Yeah, assume good intent from the folks that we work with. Most of these donors want to be there, or there for very positive reasons. So assume positive intent. Don't be like me and brace for the worst and get tense and defensive, because it's not always needed, rarely needed. Okay.
All right. So use nonverbal cues. Your own nonverbal cues also play a big role in active listening. If you meet in person, maintain eye contact and use open body language. So don't cross your arms. For instance, a smile and nod to show understanding, and mirror positive cues like leaning forward or gesturing, or even when you turn to look. If you are in a virtual setting, maintain eye contact through the camera, use facial expressions to convey emotions, and utilize appropriate hand gestures within the camera frame. All these nonverbal cues allow the other person to know that you are fully engaged in the conversation and are actively listening. Oh, you did the nod.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's almost like a workshop. We're going to workshop this.
We're workshopping ourselves.
We're going to workshop this. We're going to be better listeners while presenting about active listening. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you. And finally, match their tone. This can be a tough one. Meet calm with calm, excitement with excitement. I tend to be pretty bubbly and outgoing at these things, and that's sort of my personality. I tend to be chatty, but it's not for everybody, and it's important to be able to read a room. And it's something that I try my best to be mindful of, when it's better to turn myself down a little bit to match that tone, because it's not for everyone. That's what people tell me. You're great, but you're not for everyone. So meet calm with calm, excitement with excitement. If someone comes in, they're very excited about donating, they're very excited about the Pac-Man socks. We're gonna share those. The Pac-Man socks started yesterday. I get so excited about these things. yeah, try and match that excitement. Try and be excited for them. If someone comes in and they're very quiet and they're very calm, there might be real reasons for that. Which again, we'll talk about in detail here in a few minutes. Try and match that tone. I wouldn't necessarily match anger with anger, but but in the outside of that, try and match tone, and try and be able to read a room that you're in. Try and picture yourself in their position. So it's easy to talk about some of these things and do these things when you're not about to have a needle that long put into your arm. Easy. I do it all the time, so it's not a big deal. But some people that you're going to be working with, it might be their very first time, or maybe they had a negative experience, or maybe there's a lot of anxiety. So try and be mindful of that, and also meet them where they are. Great life advice all over. Try and meet people where they are. Some people are really, really good with the apps, and some people are really, really good with Rapid Pass and with getting all that done and making the appointments. And some people aren't. You know what I mean? Try and meet people where they are. Some people are going to need to, go through that verbally with the staff every time. Some people are only ever going to be walk-ins. My father donates all the time. He's never going to make an appointment. It's just the way it is. He's going to be that kind of random walk-in guy, but who understands he may or may not be able to donate that day. So yeah, try and match tone, try and meet people where they are, try and walk a mile in all of their shoes. So picture yourself there. Okay.
All right. So when we choose to listen to learn, we shift from service level exchanges to meaningful conversations. This approach not only deepens our understanding, but also strengthens our relationships, fosters empathy, and helps us respond with greater care and clarity. So the clear is the mindset we bring to those conversations. It reminds us why we're listening. So C for curiosity, ask open, genuine questions. L for listening, focus on understanding, not replying. E for empathy, acknowledge feelings and perspectives. A, authenticity, be genuine and honest in your responses. And then R, respect, value silence, differences, and other person's opinions or person's voices, I should say.
Value silence.
Yeah, in the first one, we were talking about how silence is a struggle for the two of
It's a
us.
struggle.
Yeah,
It's a
we gotta
struggle.
fill it, so.
Yeah.
But gotta fill
Gotta
this
say
time,
something.
But-
We're gonna do it right now. You
Yeah,
ready?
ready?
We're gonna do it. We're workshopping this. We're gonna value the silence. You ready?
And if you have a time that you want to talk about or any experience while we're in the silence, feel free to raise your hand.
I can do it. You ready?
Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
That's all I got.
tough.
That's all I got. All right. So we're going to talk about like, a real world scenario using these techniques. Mario enters the blood drive looking very nervous. Maybe he's a donor, maybe he's a volunteer, maybe he's in the wrong place. We don't know. Mario, silence timer. Oh, to make you rush. But we should work on that at Hop tomorrow, see if we can play the quiet game. Sorry, Mario enters the blood drive looking very nervous. Luigi, no relation. Luigi, the volunteer, so Luigi's us, the BDA volunteer, notices Mario appearing very unsure of where to go or what to do. We will work through this scenario together using the CLEAR framework.
Yeah.
We did change. It was actually
Yeah.
Mario and David, and we changed it to Luigi, just to spice it up.
Be silly.
Just
Just to be silly.
But that's it again. Important. I know I've said it twice. Mario is the person at the blood drive who might be donating, might not. But Mario is kind of wandering around looking nervous at a blood drive. Luigi is the Red Cross volunteer at the check-in desk, keeping an eye on stuff. And here we go.
All right, so using the clear framework, we're going to start with curiosity. There are many assumptions Luigi, the volunteer, might make about Mario. Can you name any? And then putting assumptions aside, how can we initiate conversations with Mario to show our curiosity? So retrain your brain using, instead of assuming blank, I'm going to ask blank. So what are some assumptions Luigi might have about Mario in this situation? I think the silence timer.
So it's time. The first assumption is that he might be lost,
Right, in the wrong place.
might be in the wrong place.
Yep.
Um,
But then he looks like he's first time donor. Thank you.
First time
Yeah.
donor. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, first time donor. We do take for granted a lot of this stuff, right?
Right.
Because most of us have done this and been around these environments, blood drives with some regularity. So I think you do take for granted the order of events, and it's like, oh, there's a check-in station, and then there's a refreshments over here, and this is where you scan your card. I mean, yeah, it seems simple to us, but first time donor. Thank you, Dan. Or a donor recently rejected.
Yes.
Hey,
Hey.
we're getting there. We're getting there. Right. Could be a donor that was recently rejected. Excellent point. Could have been deferred, as they say, in our line of work. And, and maybe they don't know what to do next. Excellent points. So that was the curiosity. The listening. What are some key things that Luigi can do? Luigi's the volunteer to show Mario that he is listening. And we've talked about some of these. Are there some things that he could do to fill the long pauses?
We would love to know if there's any suggestions
Yeah,
for that, because we're bad at it.
we are bad at it. But how can you? Tamika Rush is gonna she's gonna come off of the silent timer and
So the
and give us
first
some
thing
wisdom.
would be, I love the nonverbal gestures. They are definitely helpful. But with this, someone walking around lost, I mean, basically waving them over, acknowledging them. Hey, how are you? Just saying, hey, I can see you is definitely helpful. And then doing your regular spiel if they are where they are supposed to be. I think I'm
Sure.
frozen. I'm not sure. I also wanted to share Fatma's comment is that the assumption could be that Mario and Luigi are brothers.
No,
And then she went on to
no.
say that they had a fight. So he's wondering,
No.
confused because they were
That's a
just
different
fighting.
Mario and Luigi.
Yep.
These are just two nice young men in an Italian neighborhood.
Eating
here
spaghetti and
in-
meatballs.
Stop it. See, you're making assumptions. All right.
Yeah.
None of that's true. That's good. Yeah, I said waving them over. I sometimes go with that. Hi, are you here to donate today? Because I don't want to assume that they are. I checked in a guy recently at a blood drive, true story. And he was very nicely dressed. It was like in a business, and he was there for a job interview, but I didn't ask the right questions. So he came in, oh, is this where I check in? I have a 3 o'clock appointment. Yeah, man, sure. Do you have your ID on you? Click, here's some reading material. Went through the whole thing. He was there for a job interview.
Did he donate?
No, he
He
didn't donate.
Did he get the job?
I don't know, but I held him up, so then I had to go apologize to people for misunderstanding. I'm sorry, we had a blood drive here today. I thought he was coming in to donate, despite the suit and tie. I thought he was just well dressed. I didn't realize, but that's me making assumptions. I didn't ask the right questions. Susan Belson says, "Hi, my name is Luigi. Are you here to donate blood today? Thank you for coming in." Susan, I love that you give your name first. Sometimes I feel like I'm begging for people's names. That is so good to be like, "Hi, I'm Jamie. Hi, this is Krista. Hi, this is my name. Are you here to donate today?" More likely someone will give you their name and their, and
then you
state their
can
business.
call them by name,
Yeah.
refer them by name, and then that just builds your trust and builds up the rapport that you have with this individual.
Yeah. Donating blood is a special occasion. It is. It was maybe not suit nice, but yeah, for sure. For sure. Excellent feedback. Smile. Vicky Westbrook said smile. Yes. Smile and the world smiles back.
Well,
Is that a
Vicky,
saying? That's a saying.
that's a saying.
That's a saying. I would look it up on my phone, but it's way over here. I can't look it up. Smile and the world smiles back. Somebody Google it. I think somebody well known said that once.
You.
It wasn't me. Okay. Okay.
So Luigi approached Mario with a warm smile and eye contact, making him feel welcomed. We learned that Mario knew he was at the blood drive and has donated many times before. Luigi asked Mario if they were ready for their appointment. Luigi then offered to walk Mario to the registration table and help get him checked in. His last donation left him scared after he passed out. He was thinking of just leaving before he made a scene again and wasted everyone's time.
Wow. So again, that's important, and that's nothing that I would have guessed, based on the information. So yeah, so he was in the right place, didn't know what he was doing, but was anxious, had some anxiety because of this embarrassing situation, which shouldn't be embarrassing. It does happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's possible that you might briefly pass out for something like that. But yeah, but
And
poor
no judgments.
yeah, exactly. Poor Mario was kind of walking around deciding if he was going to go through with it because of what happened before. So yeah, wow. Empathy. Think about how it must be to feel embarrassed over something you can't control. Is it uncommon for donors to feel this way after passing out? Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to present this to anyone or have you present it to anyone like, oh yeah, happens all the time. Don't worry about it. It doesn't happen all the time statistically, but yes, it does happen. It is possible, particularly if donors are first-time donors or if they didn't eat well or didn't prepare, didn't have like a big meal. People can pass out usually briefly after donations. And I'm sure that can be embarrassing. It's never happened to me before, but I've seen it happen. Some folks, laugh it off and they're fine. And other folks, I'm sure that's an embarrassing situation. What are some ways that we can respond with understanding and help Mario feel validated? So you're the volunteer. Mario just shared this with you. This is all. He hasn't checked in yet, but shared these feelings. Does anyone have any feedback? Here's some real feedback. Karen Easton, I hope that's not just a part of the skit. Said it happened to me once. The phlebotomists were great. Yeah, and the phlebotomists are great. I think I've only maybe seen it once, like up close, where I was like right there and lady went down. But yeah, the phlebotomists are great and they're very, very good with that. It really did. Thank you, Karen, for sharing that with us. And I'm glad that they took care of you, and I'm glad that you're okay. And we thank you for your donation and for your support. Anyone else? Because yeah, it is important to share that it's something that can happen. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Thanks for coming back and trying again.
We were talking about this earlier. I'm a notorious fainter. I pass out quite often. One time on a bus. I was in a restaurant one time. I was in my own home and woke up on the ground. So I'm versed a little bit in the passing out realm. And the thing that always makes me feel better is when somebody is there to say, everything's okay. We've got you, you're safe. And then to clarify maybe what happened, because when you pass out, you might not know how you got there. So just having somebody, meet you where you're at, literally come down to the ground and make sure, I'm okay. And so it's always so nice to have someone there and someone present. That's why it's so important to have someone at the canteen and doing what you all do every day. So thank you for that.
I like that expression. I've got you. I like that. I've got you.
Yeah,
I like that.
I got you.
I know. I got to remember that. I had a friend who would say that frequently. Like, oh, can you do this favor? I got you. But I like that. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Well, it doesn't happen frequently. Vicky shared what doesn't happen frequently. Staff are prepared to help. Let's talk about how you prepared for today's donation. Yeah, absolutely. Tell them they're fine. Ask if they'd like some water to make sure they're hydrated. Yes. Um, the snacks and things we have at the blood drive and the juice is primarily for post donation. But if you suspect someone might need it or if they request it
Yeah.
before going back to donate, absolutely. They're encouraged to have a little something on their stomach. And that's one of the screening questions, did you eat a good meal? Are you feeling well? Before you go back. All excellent feedback from people who I can tell have done this before. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Okay, next one.
So we have authenticity. What is a genuine response you can provide that can help Mario, the donor, add ease to reinstate trust? How can we assure Mario that he is not alone and has not been the only donor to pass out? So you can say, in my experience, ... and provide any additional information that is needed at the time. Does anybody have an instance where something like this may have happened, that you were speaking with a donor, maybe a first-time donor, maybe a scared donor, and how that went?
Hi, Susan.
Susan.
I have
Hi.
two occasions. I had one individual come in who had had a rough time, and she wanted a particular station. So I spoke with the charge nurse, and we were able to make that happen. And after she donated blood, she was thrilled, and she said, yes, she will come back. Second time, I had a gentleman come in who had a bad time with Power Red. And after speaking for a little while, he agreed to donate just regular blood. So we both, were able to make him feel better. And we still, as the Red Cross, got a pint of blood.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
absolutely. And thank you for being there for both of those, because it sounds like you turned two potentially negatives into two positives.
Yeah.
And kept those donors not just feeling good in that moment on that day, but they'll keep coming back. We've had I don't know if it's affected all areas, but there's a national shortage, segue on the Power Red solution. So some regions, including ours that we're in here in Greater Carolina, have almost completely shut down. Not forever, but shut down Power Red collection because of the supply chain issue. So yeah, we've gotten really good lately at getting folks who were expecting Power Red and wanting to do Power Red, to register for Power Red to, oh, would you consider, the single? I know you're regular Power Red, and we'd love to have you back, but would you consider doing a whole blood single donation? And then in 56 days, we can have you back. Yeah, that's important to, like what we were saying, meet them where they are.
Right.
Had a negative experience with a Power Red or couldn't do a Power Red, and turn it into, well, while you're here, would you like to donate this? When you have a chance, I have a question here, folks. Nurses, some center staff by RNs. The technical term is phlebotomist. I think nurse and charge nurse are used more generally. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, the Red Cross does employ RNs, registered nurses, for certain tasks. But yeah, I believe phlebotomist
Yeah.
is the technical term. We tend to use nurses and charge nurses is more of a general. But who knows even better than we do? Tamika, what is the
Yes, the
what is the
short answer
correct
is yes.
vernacular for that?
Some of the supervisors, some of the site supervisors do have charge nurses who were registered nurses as the supervisors at the blood drive. So you have collection supervisors, site supervisors, and some of them are indeed nurses. So yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
It's not just interchangeable. Some of it is actually
Gotcha.
factually
So yeah,
correct.
so it's right. So it's both. So there are both. Thank you for that. And I did, yeah, I knew that because I've seen that before. I know that we have registered nurses employed by the Red Cross, but Yeah,
A
okay,
lot
that's
of
good to know.
volunteers
So
are
it-
registered nurses.
So it could be, yeah. So to answer your question, Karen Easton, yes, it very much could be an RN who's supervising the staff. So
Right.
is this okay?
Well,
All right,
volunteer.
we're next one. It's all good feedback. Respect. Okay, this is the last one. You guys we're right on schedule. You guys are there. And then finally, respect. And all this does come down in many ways to respect. Let's think of a few things we can say to help Mario a little extra time in deciding if donating is right for him, or to reassure him that it's okay if he's not ready to donate. Again, we're going to meet Mario where he is. If he has a lot of anxiety and he doesn't want to do it and he wants to come back tomorrow or make a different appointment because he's not ready, that's absolutely fine. If he wants to hang out and have some Nutter Butters and think about it, that's absolutely fine. We do a lot of drives in this area on college campuses, and it might be a 6-hour day, 8-hour day. And I have some folks that are first-time donors. They're nervous, they're interested because they want the T-shirt or they want the Pac-Man socks, but they're very nervous, and you can tell they're nervous. And we like to say, hey, we're here till 6 o'clock, p.m. today. So, and we're taking walk-ins. So if you want to come back at 5 or 5:15 after you've thought about it, we certainly don't want to be pushy. I don't like to make guarantees to anybody that we can make them, especially if it's a busy drive, we can fit them in. But yeah, if they're not ready to donate, need to come back later. That is certainly something that I would want to encourage. The last thing we want to do is force a donor or guilt a donor into doing a thing that they're not ready to do. And I don't mean just physically ready to do, but maybe they're just not in the right space to do it. Again, take that for granted. We're around a lot of blood drives. It's
Yeah.
just Tuesday to us, but it might be a really big deal. Might be a really big deal physically, mentally, to a donor. So yeah. Oh yeah. So we have some extra folks. So Vicki and Dan both said they had nurses on the volunteer staff. Volunteers recently retired. Doctor. Not sure if she's had to utilize her medical skills on site.
Well,
It's yeah, now that one I haven't had. That one I was gonna say, does anyone have it? I haven't had that. In a former life, I worked with the YMCA and we did lots of kids programs and sports and stuff. And we did have a woman who was a masters swimmer, if y'all are familiar with masters, like the adult swim team. And her water broke while in the water. I
oh,
know that sounds like the setup to a joke, true story. It was her fourth child and she kind of brushed it off like, well,
I'm
hey,
gonna go
I'm so sorry, we need to,
just do this mile around.
we
the
should
pond.
probably, get everybody out. But yeah, my water broke and I'm like, oh my gosh, you okay? Do you need someone to drive? Oh no, I'm fine. It's my fourth kid. I'm just gonna go change real quick. And yeah, she drove herself to the hospital and had a young boy later that day. So, but I've never had one in a blood drive. But I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure it's happened. Just not to me. That is beautiful. There's also an edge training for the lay volunteers to know what to do and to be safe in assisting donors.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she's talking about that in the general sense of passing out and not for childbirthing scenarios. But either way, thank you. We have respect for donor autonomy and need to ensure that they feel valued. And that is paramount. Put the whole thing in a nutshell. You just logged on. You were spaced out watching YouTube videos until just now. We have respect for donor autonomy and need to ensure that they feel valued. Very, very important. All of this active listening, all of this respect, all these interactions, making sure that our donors feel
Valued.
So they continue to come back. They continue to support the mission, and we are able to keep life-saving blood on the hospital shelves when it's needed. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Caring Communication for November. Thank you so much for spending the last 47 minutes with us. If you are a volunteer that enters in your own hours, this is worth 1 full hour of training time. If you're not a volunteer that puts in your own hours, please contact your volunteer engagement individual, whether it be me or Krista or another member of our team. We'll be happy to do that for you. We are not rushing you off. We're going to hang out here and we'll answer a few other questions or have some conversation for several minutes. But if you've had enough of us, you are free to go. Thanks for being here. Wanted to remind everybody of the donor promotion that just started yesterday, Monday, carries through December 7th, are these Pac-Man socks. We got to see them up close today. They're pretty cool. They're a dark gray and they have Pac-Man and Red Cross logos. This is in celebration of Pac-Man's 45th anniversary of Pac-Man. And these are going out to all the mobile drives and fixed side drives in the area now between December 7th for all presenting donors. And the fixed sites also have, this is so fun, they have this. I'm going to hold this up. It's plastic and it comes like in a little ball and you put it together almost like Legos or Duplos, I guess. But
Mr.
it's a
Potato Man. Maybe?
yeah. It's small, but it's Pac-Man, kind of that original box art from 1980, and he's got the Red Cross logo on his glove. It's so
Really
cool.
cool.
While
Yeah.
supplies last, these are also at the fixed sites. So, yeah, that'll I think that'll be fun for all donors, especially donors my age. So, my age. So, 45th anniversary of Pac-Man. I know, darling.
I know. I really feel like, oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
can remember
I know.
playing Pac-Man, when Ataris
can't be
came out.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Oh my
my
gosh.
cousin Paula, who's a few years older than me, but she had it on the it was later called the Atari 2600, but I think it was just the
Yeah.
Atari at the time. Big things out on the ground, but we had Pac-Man on
Yeah.
the with the joystick. And that was
we had game
probably
rooms. We
close
would
to
go
45
game
years ago.
rooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But
wow.
that was great. Well, hey, thank you guys for being here. Again, we'll hang out for a couple minutes if anyone needs anything. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Go get a good, healthy dinner. Go get healthy, satisfying dinner.
There it
you go.
is.
There it is. And we will see you next time. We'll be back in January for another presentation. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Jamie. Headed out
And
to
thank you,
Mexico,
colleagues, for
guys.
being here.
All righty.
Outstanding job, guys.
Yeah, y'all
Thank you,
standing.
Terry Stewart. We didn't know you were here. Thank you, Terry. Thanks for being here.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You too. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye-bye.